All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Saira Mujtaba and with me is Sarabjit Kaur. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says mega infrastructure connectivity plan Gati Shakti will provide impetus to 21st century India. President Ramnath Kovind to arrive in Leh today on a two-day visit to Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir to celebrate Dussehra with Jawans in Dras. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 96 crore 78 lakh mark. WHO forms scientific advisory group to identify origin of COVID-19 and other future outbreaks. India withdraws COVID restrictions imposed on visiting UK nationals. Top Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist killed in an encounter with security forces at Avantipora in Jammu and Kashmir. NIA arrests 9 terror associates following multiple raids in Jammu and Kashmir. Mahanavami being celebrated across the country today with religious fervour. India beat Maldives to reach final of SAF Championship in Malé. And in IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders set up title clash with Chennai Super Kings after defeating Delhi Capitals in second qualifier at Sharjah. As India is on the verge of vaccinating 100 crore people against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all people, doctors, nurses and others who are making this possible. At the same time, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners who are yet to be fully vaccinated to get vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festival season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact National Helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan for Multimodal Connectivity and the new exhibition complexes of the India Trade Promotion Organization at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi yesterday. He also reviewed a model of the new exhibition complex at Pragati Maidan. In his address, the Prime Minister said the National Master Plan will provide Gati Shakti to 21st century India with multimodal connectivity and next generation infrastructure.
पीएम गति शक्ति अब ये सुनिश्चित करेगी कि 21वीं सदी का भारत इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट में कोऑर्डिनेशन में कमी की वजह से ना पैसे का नुकसान उठाए और ना ही समय गंवाए। पीएम गति शक्ति नेशनल मास्टर प्लान के तहत रोड से लेकर रेलवे तक, एविएशन से लेकर के एग्रीकल्चर तक विभिन्न मंत्रालयों को, विभागों को इससे जोड़ा जा रहा है। हर बड़े प्रोजेक्ट को, हर डिपार्टमेंट को सही जानकारी, सटीक जानकारी समय पर मिले, इसके लिए टेक्नोलॉजी प्लेटफॉर्म भी तैयार किया गया है।
The Prime Minister said the India of the 21st century is leaving behind old thinking and is moving forward.
प्रगति भी तभी मानी जाएगी जब उसमें गति हो, गति के लिए एक अधीरता हो, गति के लिए एक सामूहिक प्रयास हो। आज का मंत्र है विल फॉर प्रोग्रेस, वर्क फॉर प्रोग्रेस, वेल्थ फॉर प्रोग्रेस, प्लान फॉर प्रोग्रेस, प्रेफरेंस फॉर प्रोग्रेस। हमने न सिर्फ परियोजनाओं को तय समय सीमा में पूरा करने का वर्क कल्चर विकसित किया, बल्कि आज समय से पहले प्रोजेक्ट पूरे करने का प्रयास हो रहा है।
The Prime Minister underlined that Master Plan Gati Shakti strengthens Atmanirbhar Bharat and also lays the foundation for the coming 25 years of development programs. Mr. Modi said the Gati Shakti National Master Plan will also provide an analytical and decision-making tool for investors and all stakeholders involved in policy making of the country. This will help the government in effective planning and policy making. He said it is important for India's development that all departments linked to infrastructural growth come together and use each other's collective power. Speaking on the occasion, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said, India is progressing at a fast pace, and the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan is a symbol of Mr. Modi's foresight.
The Confederation of Indian Industries, CII, has lauded the launch of the Gati Shakti Master Plan, saying that the proposed geospatial digital platform is a well-timed and revolutionary initiative. Director General CII, Chandrajit Banerjee, said in a statement that the initiative would spur manufacturing competitiveness by facilitating ease of doing business through improved connectivity. He said it is a giant step towards unlocking India's growth potential and creating jobs. CII President T.V. Narendran said the platform will be a game changer and harness the potential of Indian industry in line with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of scale and speed. President Ramnath Kovind will be on a 2-day visit to Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir beginning today. Mr. Kovind will receive Guard of Honor at the Leh airport. President will celebrate the Shera with Jawans in Dras. More details from our correspondent.
President of India Ramnath Kovind will be arriving in Leh this morning. After interaction with Ladakh Lieutenant Governor R.K. Mathur, he will proceed to Sindhu Ghat for Sindhu Darshan Puja. At the Ghat, he will meet religious leaders as well. Later in the evening, Mr. Kovind interact with the troops in Udhampur. On Friday, the President and the Supreme Commander of Armed Forces would lay wreath at Kargil War Memorial in Dras. Senior army officials would brief him about the Kargil war. Later, the President will interact with the troops at the war memorial. Elaborate security arrangements are made on the ground and in the airfield as well. Ramesh Chandra, All India Radio News, Leh.
India has strongly rejected China's objection to a recent visit to Arunachal Pradesh by Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and asserted that the state is an integral and inalienable part of India. In response to a media query about the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson's comments on the recent visit of the Vice President of India to Arunachal Pradesh, MEA spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said, Indian leaders routinely travel to the state of Arunachal Pradesh as they do to any other state of India. He said, objecting to the visit of Indian leaders to an Indian state does not stand to reason. Mr. Bagchi said further the current situation along the line of actual control or LAC in the western sector of the India-China border areas has been caused by unilateral attempts of the Chinese side to alter the status quo in violation of bilateral agreements. The spokesperson said, therefore, India expects the Chinese side to work towards an early resolution of the remaining issues along the LAC in eastern Ladakh while fully abiding by the bilateral agreements and protocols rather than trying to link unrelated issues. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will deliver the inaugural address at a webinar on the role of women in armed forces being organized by the Shanghai Cooperation Organization or SCO today. The international webinar in video conference mode is hosted by the Defence Ministry. Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat will deliver the welcome address. Representatives of the SCO member countries will share their experiences which will enrich and inform policymakers and practitioners alike. The webinar will be conducted in 2 sessions. The first session on Historical Perspective of Women's Role in Combat Operations will be chaired by Deputy Chief of Integrated Defence Staff Medical, Lieutenant General Madhuri Kanitkar. Apart from India, speakers from China, Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan will share their perspectives in the session.
India is marching towards touching the mark of 100 crore COVID-19 vaccination coverage. More than 96 crore 78 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said more than 32 lakh 36,000 vaccine doses were administered yesterday. 15,822 new cases were reported in the country in the last 24 hours. A total of 22,844 people recovered from the infection in the same period. The recovery rate is currently at 98.06%, which is highest since March last year. The weekly positivity rate currently stands at 1.46%, which is less than 3% for the last 110 days. Talking to AIR News, member Niti Aayog Dr. V.K. Paul said, so far 75% eligible people have been vaccinated and now the government's effort is to bring the rest of the population under the ambit of the vaccination process.
ये टीकाकरण सिर्फ नंबर की गेम नहीं है। टीकाकरण ये हमें इस महामारी की प्रकोप और मार से बचाने के लिए सक्षम हो गया है। 75% हो गए हैं, बाकियों को भी अंदर लाना है इस दायरे में, इस कवच के अंदर। तो ये अचीवमेंट है।
Dr. V.K. Paul urged people to follow COVID protocol while celebrating festivals.
इस बारी के जो त्योहार हैं वो हम पूरे संयम से मनाएंगे। बाहर हम भीड़ में नहीं आएंगे, हमने बाजारों में भीड़ नहीं करनी है। मास्क वाला त्योहार होंगे, पूजा हो, चाहे दशहरा हो या दिवाली हो या ईद हो या क्रिसमस हो। हम जितनी भी जरूरत हो उतना ही बाहर निकलिए। कमरे के अंदर बैठे हैं तो कमरे की खिड़कियां खोल के रखिए। कमरे में ज्यादा लोग मत बैठिए, मास्क लगा के बैठिए अगर लोग और बैठे हुए हैं। ये प्रिकॉशन लेना बहुत ही जरूरी है।
Talking about child immunization program, Dr. N.K. Arora, chairman of the COVID-19 Working Group of National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization, said that vaccination of children with comorbidities will start from the next 4 to 6 weeks.
हमें उम्मीद है कि 2022 की पहली तिमाही में हम सब बच्चों को टीकाकरण कर सकेंगे, लेकिन उससे पहले जो बच्चे बीमार हैं और जिनमें गंभीर बीमारी होने की संभावना है, हमें लगता है कि इस साल के अगले 4-6 हफ्ते में शुरुआत करी जा सके।
A frontline worker, Umesh Kumar, told AIR that the vaccination gave them confidence to serve the COVID patients without any fear.
मेरा नाम उमेश कुमार है। मैं पिछले 20 साल से गांधी हॉस्पिटल ओम विहार उत्तम नगर नई दिल्ली में कार्यरत हूँ। ये इतनी भयंकर बीमारी, इतने लोग बीमार हो रहे थे, इतने लोग मर रहे थे। हम लोग खुद दशहत में आ गए थे, हम लोग ड्यूटी कैसे करें, अपने परिवार को कैसे सुरक्षित रखें। लेकिन सरकार का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि जब से इन्होंने वैक्सीन लाए हैं, एक वैक्सीन लगते ही हमने थोड़ा निडर होके अपना ड्यूटी शुरू कर दिया और अच्छे से पेशेंट की देखभाल करने लगे। दूसरी डोज लगने के बाद हम लोग और निडर हो गए और अच्छे से ड्यूटी करने लगे, मरीज को सेवा करने लगे और अपने पूरे परिवार को हमने वैक्सीन लगवा लिया। जितने जान पहचान के लोग तो सब डर रहे थे, लेकिन सबको हमने वैक्सीन लगवा दिया।
India has withdrawn COVID-19 restrictions imposed on visiting UK nationals. The Health Ministry has relaxed the travel advisory that imposed additional checks and quarantine on those arriving from the UK. The move comes to reciprocate the UK government's decision to discontinue the mandatory quarantine and checks for Indian visitors vaccinated with Covishield. Earlier this month, India had said that all British nationals arriving in India from the UK will have to undergo a mandatory 10-day quarantine even if they are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. The World Health Organization has announced the establishment of a scientific advisory group to identify the origin of COVID-19 and other future outbreaks. The WHO's Scientific Advisory Group for the Origins on Novel Pathogens, or SAGO, will include 26 scientists from the US, China, and about 24 other countries to find out the answer to the question of how the novel coronavirus first infected humans. The group will also be responsible for establishing a framework to combat future pandemics. WHO's top emergency expert, Mike Ryan, said the new panel may be the last chance to establish the origin of SARS-CoV-2, a virus that has topped our whole world. WHO technical lead on COVID-19, Maria von Kerkhove, voiced hope that there would be further WHO-led international missions to China, which would engage the country's cooperation. WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said, the emergence of new viruses with the potential to spark epidemics and pandemics is a fact of nature, and while SARS-CoV-2 is the latest such virus, it will not be the last.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says mega infrastructure connectivity plan Gati Shakti will provide impetus to 21st century India. President Ramnath Kovind to arrive in Leh today on a 2-day visit to Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir to celebrate Dussehra with Jawans in Dras. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 96 crore 78 lakh mark. WHO forms scientific advisory group to identify origin of COVID-19 and other future outbreaks. India withdraws COVID restrictions imposed on visiting UK nationals. Top Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist killed in an encounter with security forces at Avantipura in Jammu and Kashmir. NIA arrests 9 terror associates following multiple raids in J&K. Mahanavami being celebrated across the country today with religious fervour. India beat Maldives to reach final of SAF Championship in Malé, and in IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders set up title clash with Chennai Super Kings after defeating Delhi Capitals in second qualifier at Sharjah. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के पावन अवसर पर आकाशवाणी समाचार के कार्यक्रम परिक्रमा में गुरुवार को शाम 4:45 पर सुनिए देश की आजादी की लड़ाई में अपना अमूल्य योगदान देने वाले भारतीय स्वतंत्रता संग्राम के सिपाही की वीर गाथा।
Welcome back. You're listening to the morning news. National Investigation Agency NIA has arrested 9 terror associates following searches at multiple locations in Jammu and Kashmir. The move comes after NIA registered a case on 10th of October and initiated probe into conspiracy to launch terror attacks in J&K and other major cities, including New Delhi. An NIA spokesperson said, preliminary investigation has revealed that the 9 arrested accused are terror associates or overground workers, OGWs, of various banned terrorist organizations and have been providing logistical and material support to terrorists and facilitating them in their nefarious designs. Several electronic devices, incriminating documents and records of suspicious financial transactions were seized during the raids. Top Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist Sham Sofi has been killed in an encounter with the security forces in Tral city of Pulwama district in Jammu and Kashmir. Inspector General of Police Vijay Kumar said the encounter broke out yesterday after security forces launched a cordon and search operation following specific inputs about the presence of terrorists at Tilwani Mohalla Bagar in the Tral area of Avantipura. The slain terrorist was identified as Shamim Sofi alias Sham Sofi. He was the top local commander of the Jaish-e-Mohammed.
As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events are being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. India's glorious fight for freedom is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the valiant struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember the great freedom fighter and one of the founding members of Ghazar movement, Lala Hardayal, who was born on 14th October in 1884 in Delhi. A widely read person, Hardayal turned down a career in the Indian civil service and with his intellectual acumen, inspired many expatriate Indians living in Canada and the USA to fight for India's independence movement.
He was associated with Shyam Krishna Verma and Bhikaji Kama.
Lala Hardayal studied in the Cambridge Mission School and received his bachelor's degree in Sanskrit from St. Stephen's College in Delhi. In 1905, he received 2 scholarships of Oxford University for his higher studies in Sanskrit. However, in a letter to the Indian sociologist published in 1907, he started to explore anarchist ideas, arguing that our object is not to reform government, but to reform it away, leaving, if necessary, only nominal traces of its existence.
The letter led him to being put under surveillance by the police. Later that year, he gave up the prestigious Oxford scholarships and returned to India in 1908 to live a life of austerity. But in India too, he started writing harsh articles in the leading newspapers. When the British government decided to censor his works, Lala Lajpat Rai advised him to leave and go abroad.
He travelled through France and Germany, disseminating anti-British propaganda and lauding Western science and political philosophy as holding the key to a successful anti-colonial struggle. He moved to the United States in 1911, where he became involved in industrial unionism.
Basant Kumar Biswas's attempt on the life of the Indian Viceroy, Lord Hardinge, on 23rd of December 1912, had a major impact upon Hardayal. The Ghadar Party was formed on November 1st, 1913, with Hardyal as its guiding spirit. In April 1914, he was arrested by the United States government for spreading anarchist literature and fled to Berlin, Germany.
In Berlin, he became instrumental to the formation of the Berlin Committee and cooperated with the German Intelligence Bureau for the East to fight against the British.
In 1987, the India Department of Posts issued a commemorative stamp.
Poet Sayyid Fazlul Hasan, known by his pen name Hasrat Mohani, who coined the independence slogan Inqilab Zindabad in 1921.
इनकलाब एक लड़ाई है जुल्म और नाइंसाफी के खिलाफ। इनकलाब एक हथियार है आदमी पर आदमी का शोषण रोकने के लिए। इनकलाब एक ऐलान है देश के नौजवानों को एकजुट करने के लिए।
Born on 14th of October in 1875 in Unnao district of Uttar Pradesh, Mohani,
together with Swami Kumaranand, he is regarded as the first person to demand complete independence for India in 1921 at the Ahmedabad session of the Indian National Congress.
Hasrat Mohani participated in the struggle for Indian independence and was jailed in 1903 for many years by the British authorities. He was a member of the Indian National Congress for many years and also joined the All India Muslim League, serving as its president in 1919.
He opposed the partition of India. After the declaration of the partition plan on 3rd of June 1947, Mohani resigned as a member of the All India Muslim League, and when the division of the country occurred, he chose to live in independent India.
Mohani became a member of the Constituent Assembly of India but never accepted any government allowance or stayed at official residences. Instead, he stayed in mosques and used to go to the parliament in a shared tonga.
Maulana Hasrat Mohani died on 13th May 1951 in Lucknow. We salute his unwavering dedication to the cause of Indian independence.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Government has notified new rules in which the gestational limit for termination of pregnancy has been increased from 20 to 24 weeks for certain categories of women. These categories include survivors of sexual assault or rape or incest, minors and women whose marital status changes during an ongoing pregnancy. As per the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Rules 2021, the Medical Board will allow or deny termination of pregnancy beyond 24 weeks of gestation period only after due consideration and ensuring that the procedure would be safe for the woman at that gestation age and whether the fetal malformation has substantial risk of it being incompatible with life, or if the child is born, it may suffer from such physical or mental abnormalities to be seriously handicapped.
Mahanavami or Durga Navami is being celebrated across the country today with religious fervour. Mahanavami marks the 9th day of Navratri festival. On this day, Goddess Durga is worshipped as Mahishasur Mardini, which symbolizes the victory of good over evil. The 9th day of Navratri is also dedicated to Ma Siddhidatri. On this day, the goddess is known to bless her devotees with many siddhis or fulfillment or perfection.
India reached the final of South Asian Football Federation SAF Championship after beating defending champion Maldives 3-1 at Malé last night. Manveer Singh had given India the lead in the 33rd minute, but Ali Ashfaq scored a penalty to level the tie before half-time. Later, India bounced back through their tailsman Sunil Chhetri, who smashed a loose ball shortly after the hour mark in the 62 minute. He then doubled his tally in 71 minute with a looping header. Seven-time champions India will take on first-time finalist Nepal in the title match on Saturday. In IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders set up title clash with Chennai Super Kings after defeating Delhi Capitals in a last-over thriller in Qualifier 2 at Sharjah last night. Put into bat, Delhi Capitals put up a score of 135 runs for the loss of 5 wickets in the stipulated 20 overs with the help of opener Shikhar Dhawan's 36 and Shreyas Iyer's not out 30 runs. For Kolkata, Varun Chakravarti took 2 wickets.
And now let's take a look at the weather update for today. Srinagar will witness a mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between 6 and 23 degrees Celsius. Jammu will also see a mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between 19 and 35 degrees Celsius. Leh will have a clear sky as well. The temperature will vary between 0 and 15 degrees Celsius, while Gilgit will have a partly cloudy sky. Muzaffarabad will have a mainly clear sky. National capital Delhi will have a mainly clear sky as well. Temperature will hover between 21 and 34 degrees Celsius. Mumbai may experience a partly cloudy sky with temperatures hovering between 25 and 33 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. Minimum temperature was 28 degrees Celsius, while maximum is expected to be around 35 degrees Celsius. Chennai, Bengaluru, Hyderabad may experience cloudy sky with moderate rain today. Thiruvananthapuram will have a cloudy sky with few spells of rain as well. Guwahati will have a cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature was around 26 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be around 35 degrees Celsius. Imphal will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Shillong will also have a cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Temperature will hover between 17 and 24 degrees Celsius.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. The Prime Minister launching the Gati Shakti plan dominates the headlines of the newspapers today, along with other stories. Modi launches mega infra connectivity plan, writes Hindustan Times, while the Pioneer headlines, PM unveils 100 lakh crore rupees master plan to give Gati to economy. Financial Express notes infrastructure gets Gati Shakti boost. All dailies have widely noticed India withdrawing curbs on UK travellers after UK did the same for Indian visitors. Government withdraws quarantine rules for UK citizens, writes Hindustan Times, while the Tribune notes government withdraws reciprocal curbs, no forced quarantine for UK flyers. In some good cheer, the Hindu reports after dip in COVID hit first quarter, investments recover. And finally, the Indian Express writes, abortion allowed till 24 weeks of pregnancy in special cases.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Modi says mega infrastructure connectivity plan Gati Shakti will provide impetus to 21st century India. President Kovind to arrive in Leh today on a 2-day visit to Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir to celebrate the Dussehra with Jawans in Dras. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 96-78 lakh mark. WHO forms scientific advisory group to identify origin of COVID-19 and other future outbreaks. India withdraws COVID restrictions imposed on visiting UK nationals. Top Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist killed in an encounter with security forces at Avantipora in Jammu and Kashmir. NIA arrests 9 terror associates following multiple raids in J&K. Mahanavami being celebrated across the country today with religious fervour. India beat Maldives to reach final of SAF Championship in Malé. And in IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders set up title clash with Chennai Super Kings after defeating Delhi Capitals in second qualifier at Sharjah. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a great day.